Derby County having a huge opportunity this weekend to all but seal promotion as they head to Cambridge United looking for 3 magic points which make it impossible for other teams to catch up without tremendous goal swings on the final day. Now, you let me know, do you think Derby County are going to do it? I've got every faith in the club right now. I've got every faith in Paul Warne. But we know what happens with Derby County. We've seen it time and time again, being in good positions and just finding a way to mess it up. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Do you think Derby are going to do it? And now we're going to take a look into the league table and what could happen at the weekend. So we look at the league table, and as you can see, Pompey have taken the title against Barnsley. If you haven't checked out my League One review, I posted that yesterday. Make sure you go and check that out. It's going to be an absolutely tremendous end to the season. Got a League One preview coming out tomorrow, so make sure you stick about for that one as well. And as you can see here, look, Portsmouth taking the title. Derby County, 3 points clear of Bolton Wanderers. Obviously only 6 points clear of Peterborough, so Peterborough do still have the opportunity to catch Derby if Derby are to fall to defeat in the final 2 games. But is that going to happen? Who knows? You'll have to let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I've got my faith in the club. I've got my faith in Paul Warne and the players. And we head to Cambridge this weekend. But where do Cambridge find themselves in the league table? We have to scroll right the way down to 19th place. They've got 46 points from 43 games. They've won 2 of their last 5, but lost 2 of their last 3. So we're going into this game in a good bit of momentum as Derby County to take 3 points. Obviously, Derby County have dropped points recently against Northampton Town and Wycombe Wanderers in 11th and 12th. But are they going to drop points again at Cambridge United? I severely hope not. It's going to be a very, very interesting game for me, because if Derby pick up 3 points, Bolton must win to even stay within the fight. If Derby obviously pick up 3 points, it then means that Peterborough have to win all their games and Derby then have to lose on the final day, and a 10-goal swing. Bolton would obviously only need us to lose 1 game that they win, and I think it's a 5-goal swing. Yeah, 5-goal swing, 33 to 38. So let me know. The goal difference swing for me is where Derby sort of take priority, because 38 is massive. And I think Bolton now have resided to the playoffs. I do think their team selection shows that they've done that already. Obviously no Sheenan in the side, no Santos. I think Bodvarsson was injured. I talk about it all in my League One preview, so make sure you check that video out. Let's now take a look into the manager of Cambridge United. Then let's take a look into their players. If you have not done so already, hit that subscribe button down below or in this top corner to stay tuned for all my latest EFL League One content and potentially Championship heading into next season. So we're trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the season. I know that you can help me do it, so make sure you hit that subscribe button down below or in this top corner, and I'll catch you in the next part of this video. Well, instead of the manager, let's take a look into the actual fixture. Obviously, we're playing at the Abbey Stadium at Cambridge, and obviously Derby County have not lost to Cambridge since being in League One. Obviously, a 2-0 win last season was Paul Warne's first game in charge, and it was a 2-0 away win. I think James Collins scored both the goals that day, and then we won again in December of 2022 at home with a 1-0 win. But then back in September, Cambridge were up there, sort of in the playoff places at that point, and both teams fell to a 0-0 draw. A game in which Derby should have won. There was plenty of opportunities in that game for me, and Derby fell to an unfortunate draw. Now, if we look at the form of both sides, like it is hard to look past Derby County when you look at the form, you look at the league table, but we know, as we've seen, you can see it on the screen for Derby County on the right-hand side, a 1-0 defeat at Northampton 4 games ago, 0-0 draw with Wycombe Wanderers just last week, and there's every opportunity that Cambridge could pull off a shock here. We've seen it. They beat Barnsley 2-0 4 games ago, and they've beaten Wigan Athletic. They've beaten some really good sides this season, and Cambridge do have the opportunity to beat Derby and give Bolton another opportunity. And some former players of Bolton in that Cambridge side, Elias Kachunga, will be hoping to get one over on Derby to give Bolton the best possible opportunity. It's going to be really interesting to see the lineups at the weekend, because Bolton really could save everybody and just protect players, because it is an upward hill task for them to get into the playoffs well, for them to get into the automatic promotion, sorry. So what are they going to do? Are they going to sort of shut up shop, protect players for the next 2 games, or are they going to really go for it? Now, judging by the post-match of Ian Evatt, I don't think that Bolton are going to really go for it. I think they're just going to sort of refresh players, but we'll have to see what happens. But obviously Cambridge United picked up 7 points out of 15, which isn't too bad. Derby County 8 points out of 15. So realistically, both teams are in similar boats when it comes to form. Obviously Derby County, I think since they played Stevenage away from home, I think it was a 3-1 defeat, they would be top of the league if that's when it started, and that's something that you can't take away. But it's something where you have to say, where was those performances at the start of the season? Why did it take a 3-1 defeat to Stevenage to end up in this position? So we'll now go and take a look into the Cambridge manager, and then let's take a look at the players they have at their disposal. So Gary Monk. Now, out of management for a long time after leaving Sheffield Wednesday in 2020. Obviously, you had the COVID situation not long after that, and many teams didn't really change managers a lot during that period. And he's been at Cambridge since the beginning of March. He's done 8 matches, 2 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses, averaging a point a game, and obviously a team at the bottom end of the table. I think that's about right. In my opinion, if you can do a point per game as a relegation side, you should stay in the league, because that's 46 points in the Championship, League 1, League 2. It's 30, is it 36, 38 in Premier League, whatever. So for me, I think you should be able to stay in the league at that sort of rate. Obviously, Gary Monk, 45 years old, 4 years out of management. But he came back to Cambridge, and so far he's done all right given the position they're in and some of the teams they've had to face. Obviously, picked up a win against Barnsley, which is quite surprising because I thought Barnsley a fairly decent side. But obviously, Gary Monk has got Cambridge picking up some results, and that's just what they need. I think they probably need a point to be completely safe, but I wouldn't rule, for me, they're probably safe anyway. I don't really think they've got much to play for. But we've seen with Derby, with Northampton and Wickham that doesn't mean that they're just going to roll over, and that's something we need to remember. Obviously, let's now take a look into the players that they have at their disposal. Obviously, Elias Kachunga, the former Bolton player, is one of those. So we look at the top goal scorers charts, and Ghassan Ahadmi is top. Derby County fans, obviously if you follow Burton as well, which I know some people do, will know him. 10 goals this season is a good return for him. No assists, but 10 goal contributions as a relegation threatened striker is quite good for me. Kachunga with 5. I'm not even going to attempt to say that lad's name, but he's also got 5. Then you've got Sully Kalakai with 4 assists, Brophy 3, Lancaster 3 as well. Danny Andrews taking the mantle of their top rating, with Liam Bennett and Jack Stevens not far behind. Obviously, expected goals, Ghassan Ahadmi is overperforming massively. Kachunga underperforming, but it's one of those things when you're in a relegation team, you just don't quite get the high level of opportunities. Now, for me, it's going to be a massive weekend of football, especially for Derby County, and we've got to be able to shut down these players. Obviously, the likes of Aaron Cashin, Sonny Bradley, Curtis Nelson have done really well at that this season. I believe we have the joint best defensive record in the league, and that's something which you can't scoff at, especially when we're sitting in second position. But shall we now get a look into my predicted lineup for this game? We'll go through each position and why I've picked it. You'll probably notice no changes to this starting 11 from the game, which won 3-0 at Leyton Orient. Now, for me, you can't really change anything for me. I think the back 3, it shores us up at the back, makes us a lot safer, and then it gives Sibley and Wilson the opportunities to bomb on. It gives Mendez-Lang that freer position, especially with Liam Thompson in midfield. The legs that he has, the amount of running and distance he must cover is it's got to be incredible. I'd love to see his running data, because I say it lightly, but he reminds me so much of Jason Knight, and obviously, I think we got the better end of that Jason Knight deal. I'm not even going to lie. Bringing in Kane Wilson from Bristol City, brilliant deal to get Wilson as part of that. Gave Thompson the opportunity in midfield. Obviously, if you'd have told me at the start of the season we'd end the season with a midfield three of Smith, Ibu Adams and Liam Thompson, one, I would have sort of gone, well, who is Ibu Adams? Because I won't lie, before the start of this season, before January really, I can't say I really knew who he was. Obviously, was an excellent performer for Forest Green with Kane Wilson, but since going to Cardiff, he's not really played much. So, like, it wouldn't have been someone that I'd have thought of. And Corey Smith, I probably would have thought, oh yeah, he could have got into the midfield. But for me, if you at the start of the season, I'd have thought our midfield would have ended with Bird, Horahan, and probably Sibley in the 10. But obviously, we've seen Sibley has been pushed out to left wing back. Many people, like, for some reason, don't seem to be giving Sibley the credit he deserves. I think he's been absolutely unreal at left wing back and left back this season. I think he actually looks a better player there than he does in midfield. Like at the weekend against Leyton Orient, he was picking up the ball, beating his man 2 or 3 times, using his ball control and his dribbling ability to like get us up the pitch and create opportunities. And obviously, one of the goals came from his set piece. Can't really take that away from him. Brilliant corner from him, and he just got a brilliant left foot. And it, for me, he's a brilliant player. And having him on that left-hand side where he can take on a man, and he's got the protection of cashing in behind. You've obviously got Smith and Adams in the middle who can help out as well. It just gives him a bit more freedom. I think Kane Wilson on the other side also excellent at knowing when to beat his man or when to be safe with it. James Collins, like, I think James Collins is as pivotal as Dwight Gale. Like, I thought Dwight Gale in those 3 or 4 games that he did play before getting injured was like majorly important for us. Just leading that line and being able to go long, which Collins can't quite do. Although he tries, he's not quite got the legs for it. It's not quite quick enough. But Gale had the legs, had the speed to sort of stretch it out, give Barkhuizen and Mendes-Lang the space in the middle. But Collins has been doing really well up top since returning from injury. Obviously, his first proper game back was Pompey. Thought he did excellent in that game, getting 80-odd minutes out of a player who had barely played in, 2 months. Incredible. Mendes-Lang, you can't really say much about him. I think he's been a bit off recently. Obviously, should be credited with the assist for the first goal, but won't be because I think it's still down as an own goal. But for me, Mendes-Lang could do a lot more in this team. But it's one of those where if we get over the line, I don't care who scores that promotion-winning goal, just so long as someone does. Very difficult to see past Derby County at the minute in that position. Obviously, you saw the league table earlier on, and you've seen the performances Derby have put in. Obviously, the Northampton and Wycombe game is the one that's stopping me from being fully confident, because you look at it and you think if we'd have won one of those, we'd be up now. Even if we'd have drew, well, no, we'd need to have won one, but like we'd be up, and that makes it sort of hard at the moment to, like, I'm not celebrating yet. Let's just make it clear, I'm not celebrating. So it's a big game, massive game. Obviously, I've done all my predictions in a previous video, and I did say I think Derby would get promoted at Cambridge. I said it then. Is it going to come true? Who knows? Obviously, Bolton Wanderers, they've sort of resided to the playoffs. I think their team selection from last night showed it. Last night, Tuesday night. Sorry, I'm recording this on Wednesday. And Ian Evatt doesn't really seem to be instilling confidence in the team. Let's just put it that way. Like, the way he was talking in the press just didn't seem like... If Paul Warne had done that, I'd be calling. Like, I'd really be calling for his head, because if it's still possible, it's still possible. You can't shut up shop and, like, go, oh, it's not going to happen until it's mathematically impossible. So, obviously, you guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If we can do it this weekend, I'll be absolutely delighted. I've got my fingers crossed, and I really hope we can do it. Obviously, it does determine... We can't mathematically be up, I don't think, unless Bolton and Peterborough both drop points. Because obviously Peterborough have that game in midweek, but I think we can be pretty much certain. Obviously, if we win, I think we're pretty much up, whatever happens. Obviously, Bolton and Peterborough have each other on the final day, so it could be a bit controversial if Derby don't end up going up after winning on Saturday, if they win on Saturday. So let's just see what happens. There's a long way to go. Obviously, 180 minutes of football between Derby County and the championship once again. I've got everything crossed. I'm stressed. You can probably tell I'm stressed. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of April, and I know that you can help me do it. This promotion push for Paul Warne and Derby County is coming. We can do it. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share this video with all your friends, and I'll catch you in the next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.